It's time for the RCWR show. Call that match.
The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive, covering the latest in wrestling and beyond. You're listening to the RCWR show with Lee Sanders.
Black Avenger Lee Sanders, thank you all on YouTube so much for checking out this exclusive edition of Call That Match, where we take a look at each respected pay-per-view and offer match predictions as far as winners and possible storyline outcomes for the next few weeks to come. This month, we're going to be taking a crack at the TNA Wrestling's Slammiversary pay-per-view. It's the 11th installment, going to be coming to us from Boston, Massachusetts. And if anybody knows their wrestling crowd, it is definitely that white-hot, passionate Boston crowd. Without any further ado, let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. We have two TNA gut check contestants that's going to be going at it, as Jay Bradley is going to be taking on Sam Shaw. Remember, this is the TNA gut check tournament final for an entry into the 2013 Bound for Glory series. So bear in mind, the Bound for Glory series has not officially started yet. It's just that between these two guys in the finals, whoever wins will get an entry into the BFG series, which I believe will be beginning, if not the week after this pay-per-view, then maybe the week after. As we know, that BFG series, it usually lasts for a couple of months there. But in either case, Jay Bradley taking on Sam Shaw. You know, based on the little bit that I've seen from Sam Shaw so far, I don't know, I'm not quite convinced that he is ready just yet. I don't really think he's polished enough just yet to be on Impact Television for a couple of weeks. Would be kind of nice to have another babyface on the roster. Kid looks phenomenal, great physique, he's got a nice smile, looks like a pretty boy, but I just don't feel he's quite polished off just yet. He's better than what I remember seeing of him in his initial gut check tryout, but he's not quite up to par. I've got to actually go with the veteran wrestler in Jay Bradley. Bradley just seems like he is just all around well polished off. And last that we had talked about Jay Bradley, who resurfaced a couple of weeks back on Impact Wrestling, he's definitely come off more polished off than the last time we saw him around in his respected gut check tryout. I believe he took on some type of a luchador or something. I know he knocked his damn head off. I think it was Magnus or Magno or some guy. I can't really recall. Actually, I might actually have my guys mixed up. Forgive me there, folks. But with regards to Jay Bradley, I definitely see him advancing to go into the BFG series. Jay Bradley for the victory. Next up, we got Gail Kim taking on Terrell. This is going to be a last knockout standing match. You know, these two girls, they have been going back and forth for a few weeks now. And remember, it all started off with Terrell starting off as a referee. Gail Kim just constantly kind of like that little kid at the park with the stick in the hand just poking at that bear. And you know, you see that big old sign that says, "Don't poke the bear," or pretty much suffer the consequences. And that's what Gail Kim kept on doing. Eventually, we saw Terrell a few times get physical with Gail Kim while forgetting that she was a referee authority figure. And eventually, she would lose her spot as a ref, but would be signed on to the Knockouts division. And pretty much Terrell has just been on a winning streak in the few singles competition matches that she's been having. You know, every time I look at her, I just can't help but think of Rainbow gum. Remember Bubblicious? They used to make a red, white, and blue type of gum back in the late 90s, I want to say. Man, was that delicious. I'll let you guys marinate on that one. But, I'm looking at this particular match, and honestly, I'm thinking about what's to come in the next few weeks for the Knockouts division. And keeping all that in mind, I think Terrell, after all this stuff that she's been through concerning Gail Kim, you would think that Terrell would finally get that big W over one that's been a thorn in her side for several weeks now, right? Right. Here's what I see happening. If I was booking this right, I would actually have the beautiful and the lovely Tara make some type of a cameo appearance at this pay-per-view, specifically in this particular match. Remember, a couple of weeks back when Gail Kim was running off, going on her figure four leg lock sweep there, and she was damaging people's legs. Tara was actually one of them, because remember, folks, she and Tara, they did a tag team match, and if I'm not mistaken, they had took on the team of Tara and Terrell and Velvet Sky, and after Tara and Kim had lost, Gail went off on Tara. Now, of course, as we all know, Tara, she's been having some really great success with her new sports bar out in Chicago. So, amongst that and other personal reasons, that's why we haven't seen her on TNA programming within recent weeks. But if it was me booking this right, I would actually have Tara make a little bit of a cameo in this match to help Tara and Terrell get the victory over Gail Kim. If Terrell was not involved in this particular match, I still would need to see Taryn pick up the W. Just wouldn't make any sense for me to see Taryn go through all this just to come up short with a loss. Not to mention, the other reason why I'm looking for a W in Terrell's column is because I think we have to start thinking about potential new number one contenders for that Knockouts title. And by the victories that Taryn has been picking up, she could definitely make the argument that she should be named the new number one contender to take on the champion. Now, we know as all this is going on, we still have Velvet Sky, who is suffering her leg injury after losing the Knockouts title to Mickie James. Mickie James kind of going a little desperate there. Is it possible she might start showing signs of a heel? Well, that's for the next few weeks to determine, but Taryn definitely needs the victory so that she can go on afterwards and make that argument that she should be a contender to face the Knockouts champion. We got the Ultimate X match. It is returning as it is for the TNA X Division Championship, as Suicide is going to be taking on Kenny King and Chris Sabin. Ooh, triple dance match for that title. Of course, we got Chris Sabin, who recently came back not too long ago. We got Suicide, who came back, I believe, last Thursday or the Thursday before. So we got two new guys that's there, and we got Kenny King right at the center of it all. Man, you talk about being in a bad spot for Kenny King. I'm looking at this particular match, and honestly, what's speaking out at me off the break, I gotta go with Kenny King, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I gotta go with Kenny King. Chris Sabin, with all due respect, I love the fact that he's back. I love that story. 2 torn ACLs, 14 months of rehabbing. He's back. He's better than ever. He's looking to prove himself this go round. I love that story. I really do. But, for me, I just don't think that TNA has done enough of a build-up to really sell Chris Sabin as potentially the new X Division champion. Though this would be a damn good match, and I know this is probably going to be one of the most talked about matches of the night of Slammiversary. For me personally, I just don't see Chris Sabin getting the job done on this night. Same goes for Suicide. I'm in love with that character. That character first originated from the TNA Impact Wrestling video game. Came out, what was that, 2007, 2008? I still have nightmares playing that game. But in either case, I think you see the point I'm making right here. It's just a little too soon to pull the trigger on Chris Sabin. I would need to see Kenny King and Chris Sabin continue their program with one another well past this match, maybe leading into the next pay-per-view, or potentially we could see the title exchange hands on an episode of Impact Wrestling and then set up a rematch between Kenny King and Chris Sabin at the next respected pay-per-view. But on this night, I've got to go with Kenny King for the win. Joseph Park will be taking on Devon for the television title. Now, see, with regards to this match, one could kind of look at this and say that this particular match may have a little bit of a reflection on the main event match. You know, Devon, it's been a minute since he's defended that TNA television title. And you go over to Joseph Park, who won this right to face Devon. Remember, it was a couple of weeks back. Joseph Park had wanted to get his hands on Devon. Still a little bloodthirsty on a little bit of revenge from those damn aces and eights. And Devon told him he was in no position to even try to demand a match with him, that he had to earn it. And Joseph Park was able to do that courtesy off of one Doc. So this is how we have gotten to this point. Nice little added bonus right there, that it's going to be for the TNA television title. You know, I could look at this and say, well, maybe we can get an upset right here. Maybe Joseph Park can take away that TNA television title. And of course, by me saying that, then that would mean Bully Ray would defeat Sting, right? Well, that's how I'm kind of thinking, but I'm going at it just a little bit more right here. It seems like almost every single week we have Joseph Park on Impact Wrestling. It would be kind of nice to see somebody defend that TNA X Division, that TNA television title on a weekly basis, or on an almost consistent basis. And I just don't think we're going to get that with Devon, who's just really been sporting it around like it's just a regular old big old belt buckle. So, you know, if I was actually booking this, I would actually have Joseph Park go over Devon to kind of set up a little bit of friction between he and his aces and eights bandmates, aka brothers, if you will. That's the route that I would go with this. Is that how it's gonna probably play out? Probably not. But you know, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about the booking. I would actually go with Joseph Park for the upset. Makes great storytelling on the next few weeks of Impact Wrestling, too. Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Hernandez team up to take on Bad Influences, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, taking on Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, taking on the newly formed James Storm and Gunner, as it's a four-way elimination tag match for the TNA World Tag Team titles. Man, who could possibly walk away with this one? You know, past couple of weeks now, Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez, they have been delivering some of the best tag matches within recent weeks since they have teamed up. And they've been together now, God, it feels like for at least maybe almost 6 months that these guys have been together, and it just seems like now they're just now starting to really turn on. They're just now starting to get really, really, really white hot, and I've actually been enjoying the work they've been giving us the past couple of weeks. At the same token, we have seen them as tag champions a few times now, and I don't know, I think it might be time to see some new tag team champions. Now, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, they've been to the dance many, many times. I kind of like the fact that they are now being thorns in other people's sides. I'm not really too keen on them getting the tag belts again. Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, this match right here, this is definitely one that we're going to have to pay very close attention to, because for Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, this could be the breaking point for them with this match if they were to lose. And I think, honestly, the experiment of Austin Aries teaming with Bobby Roode, I think it's taken its course. I think it's now time to separate these two guys, let these guys go back to singles competition, and I think the timing is very perfect because we got the official BFG series that's probably going to begin in the next 2 to 3 weeks, so I definitely do not see them walking away with the tag titles. I think it's about time for them to get broken up. The team of James Storm and Gunner, that has a very, very nice little ring to it if they were to become the tag team champions. Gunner, love that guy. Physically, he just looks like a beast. Athletically, when he's in the ring, he's a little stiff in some areas, but he does come off like a beast, just how he looks. And I'm actually sold on this new team of James Storm and Gunner. I mean, come on. Team of James Storm and Gunner going to Slammiversary and then coming up short? Not to mention the fact that we've had James Storm, who's kind of been in a little bit of limbo within the past couple of months. We've seen him lose to Bobby Roode a few times. We've seen him not really get his fair hand at having a good run with the TNA title for a longer length of time. James Storm kind of needs something to do right now, and honestly, I think getting those tag titles, I think that would really, really be beneficial, not only to him, but to Gunner, especially if TNA Wrestling is looking to craft Gunner in a way where they want to shoot him up to the main event roster. I think he can get a really nice, good rub-off of James Storm in this pairing for the next upcoming weeks, couple of months. I gotta go with the new team of James Storm and Gunner. Of course, setting up the few weeks to come, I could definitely see them in a rematch against Chavo and Hernandez. I also could entertain the thought of them having another go-round with Bad Influence, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. But when it's all said and done, keep it in the back of your head that we got the BFG series. I've got to go with James Storm and Gunner. I think they can remain on the same page long enough to become the tag champions and practically force Austin Aries, Bobby Roode to break up, while also taking on the likes of Chavo and Hernandez and Bad Influence for title defenses over the next several weeks. Next match, we got AJ Styles taking on Kurt Angle in a singles match. We never thought we'd get to this point again, but it's always awesome and classic whenever we get an AJ Styles Kurt Angle match. Man, for this one, and the question that comes into mind, whose side is AJ on? We've been telling you guys the past couple of weeks now that AJ Styles is on his side. He's not on anybody else's side. Remember, right before he made his exit there from the company several months back, he said that he was going to start doing things his way. He was not going to be listening to people anymore, that he was going to go to the beat of his own drum. And that's exactly what AJ has been doing within recent weeks. I can't help but really wonder if those damn aces and eights are going to play a huge factor into this match. Remember, Bully Ray and crew very upset there 2 weeks ago that AJ Styles, he shot them down with that invitation of getting that cut and being in the band, aka the stable there. I wonder if Bully Ray and crew might try to have a little something to do with this match. AJ Styles coming back for the very first time. If I was doing this, and we've seen AJ Styles and Kurt Angle team up many, many times. If I was booking this, I would actually have Aces and Eights members pretty much come out at the end, just all one by one, just coming down the ring, surrounding it, and then try to go in and attack Styles and AJ, and the referee has no choice but to throw out the match as AJ and Styles, they're teaming up and they're just beating the living hell out of the guys, and it seems like these two guys are back on the same page, and it kind of sets them up to be in a position where for the next few weeks they're on the same page to feud with Aces and Eights. Maybe it could culminate in some type of a main event match that could play out on Impact Wrestling, or it could culminate in something going down at the next respective pay-per-view. But if I was booking it right, this is exactly how I would do it. If we're going to just go with just a straight up, no, let's not see that happen, let's just go with a winner. Hands down, you can't have AJ Styles, who's officially making his in-ring return at a pay-per-view. You can't have him just come up short like that. You gotta have the daggone guy come out on top, right? Right, I definitely gotta go with the W for the phenomenal one. Let's talk about the main event match of Slammiversary, as it's now time to talk about Sting taking on the TNA champion Bully Ray. No holds barred match for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Remember, folks, if Sting loses, he can no longer wrestle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. 2 weeks ago, we saw a little bit of a seed planted on Impact as we saw Bully Ray tell Brooke Hogan that he was still in love with her, and this had gave her mixed reactions as she really wasn't quite sure how to take that news. She tried to confront him with it, and he just pretty much reiterated what he told her earlier when she caught up with him in a backstage segment, which was he still loves her, always have, always will. And you're just kind of led to believe that Brooke Hogan, and I gotta go there if I'm booking this right, I think honestly they had this opportunity before, and it was at the Genesis pay-per-view between Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy there. They had this opportunity, and Brooke, she could have gotten involved in that match, but it didn't happen that way. Very unfortunate, but now we're at this point, and it looks like the way that they're going to be going about this, they're not necessarily going to be taking a Stephanie McMahon turning on her father to side with Triple H to do the whole McMahon-Hemsley era. Doesn't seem like they're going to go down this route. It seems like the route that they're going to be going possibly is the Brooke Hogan helping out her husband get a title victory over the Icon Sting. Honestly, if I'm booking it this match, that's the route that I'm going to be going. I'm going to be having a conflicted Brooke Hogan stand by her man and help him retain, thus costing Sting his shot at future championship opportunities for that heavyweight title. Of course, this would generate a lot of heat on Brooke Hogan. As we all know, there is a good core fan base out there of people that already don't like Brooke Hogan as it is. I can only imagine the wonders that this would do for her. if she were to do this, but I don't really see this being a case where Aces and Nates will try to interfere in this match. I don't really see that happening. I mean, I guess it would be okay, because see, the way I'm going about this, do we really want to see Aces and Nates come out twice? Do we really want to see them during the AJ Styles Kurt Angle match, possibly? Do we really want to see them come out for the Sting versus Bully Ray match, possibly? That would just kind of seem a little bit like overkill, wouldn't it? I'd be more sold on a Brooke Hogan just by herself at ringside, no Aces and Eights pop up, and she's just watching this match go down for a good majority, and then those final 90 seconds, she plays her part. She helps out her husband, Bully Ray, to take out Sting. That's the route that I'm going. Either way, Bully Ray retains the TNA title. Let's also not forget that at this Sunday's Slammiversary, it's the return of Jeff Hardy, as TNA President Dixie Carter had first broke out the news on her Twitter account this week that Jeff Hardy would be making his eagerly anticipated return at this year's Slammiversary. You can't help but wonder, which match is he going to be playing a key factor in? I'm looking very closely at that main event match between Bully Ray and Sting. Let's not also forget the AJ Styles taking on Kurt Angle. Heck, even Joseph Park taking on Devon. Somewhere in between those three matches, I would suspect that Jeff Hardy is going to be having a hand in that. Also, we're going to get to hear the next inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame. Hands down, it has to go to Jeff and Jerry Jarrett. After all, if it wasn't for them, we would not have TNA Wrestling today. I know so many people were on the fence about Sting being the first inductee into the Hall of Fame last year, as we did do a poll asking you all who did you feel need to be the first inductee, and a majority of you all, based on that poll, sided with the Jarretts for going in before Sting. Hopefully this time around, TNA Wrestling, they get it right. If not, I really fear that there's going to be a very serious backlash, and there's going to be many people questioning the true legitimacy of this TNA Hall of Fame. But look for the Jarretts to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And there you have it, folks. That's the way we're doing it on this edition of our Call That Match series. Let's kick it up from the bottom, work our way back up to the top again. At Slammiversary, I'm seeing Jay Bradley go over Sam Shaw to advance into the 2013 Bound for Glory series. Terrell gets revenge. She finally gets a big W over Gail Kim in their last knockout standing match. Kenny King gets a retain over Chris Sabin and Suicide in the Ultimate X match for the TNA X Division title. Joseph Park for the upset in defeating Devon and becoming the new TNA Television Champion. I see the team of James Storm and Gunner going over Bad Influence and Chavo and Hernandez in a Fatal 4-Way dance to become the new TNA Tag Champions. I have AJ Styles going over Kurt Angle. However, if Aces and Eights were to interfere in this match, look for the match to be thrown out. These two guys aligning with one another to take them out. And for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, I have Brooke Hogan playing a huge role into this match. I've got Bully Ray going over Sting to force that stipulation of Sting no longer being able to wrestle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And boys and girls, that's going to do it. Hey, what's your match predictions? We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to go on ahead and share your match predictions with us on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. You can also hit us up at our new show handle, the RCWR Show, on Twitter. You can also comment on YouTube at the RCWR Show, as we'll have a video version of this available, and you can comment on it there. And hey man, if you're spot on, we'll definitely show you some love on the Slammiversary post show that's going to be coming your way this Sunday. You'll be able to catch the simulcast on blogtalkradio.com and also live on YouTube, where you'll be able to see yours truly in the flesh. Make sure you join us for that Slammiversary post show. It will be coming on immediately after the conclusion of TNA Slammiversary 11.